Okay, now we're on Daf Yud Zayin Amid Beis. What do the Rabbanan derive from this double language of Heyochi Yochel? The lo shna ki mechashiv b'loshen achilim mizbeach. The lo shna ki mechashiv b'loshen aktorah mizbeach. In other words, it doesn't make a difference when he verbalizes his kavana, whether he uses the language of achila for something that is burnt on the mizbeach, loshna ki mechashiv b'loshen aktorah lemizbeach. In other words, achila is a lashon of aktorah, as far as something that has to be burnt on the mizbeach, and therefore his machshava will be affected. Inami the Gemara offers another possibility of what we derive according to Chachamim from this pasuk Yochi Yochel Ma achila b'kezayis hafaktorah b'kezayis uli olam achila di orche mashma. If you had a machshava of pigul, then it only registers if you have a machshava on the shirayim which for achila or the levona for haktorah, but not the reverse. For Rabbi Eliezer, im kain, this is what I was looking for before, that grammatical thing. Lichtov rachmona im heyochel heachel. It should have said heachel with a hey. Inami im yachol yeachel. So it should have either said heachol heachel or yeachel yeachel. Instead, it says my heachol yeachel. Do you follow? He's doing a mixed match. Shamat minot tarte. Enochinami, I could derive the conclusions that you wanted to derive chachamim. Namely, that if he had a machshava for burning a kezayis worth, it's called an achila. And so I want to derive also, says Rabbi Eliezer, that his machshavas pigul effectuates pigul even if he has in mind something that should be consumed by a person, or vice versa, it should be consumed by the mizbeh. Amalei Rav Zeril Rav Asa. The e time of the Rabbi Eliezer mishum hachi. If we're going so far as to say Rabbi Eliezer had this biblical exegesis, is karis nami l'chayev. Why is it that Rabbi Eliezer only went as far as to say that it's possible? He should have gone a step further and said it generates a chiyuv kares. Maybe you'll say in Ochinami it is kares. Ha'atu di'armit mishmei de Rabbi Yochanan, but you yourself, Rav Asi, said in the name of your Rebbe Rav Yochanan that Mod Rabbi Eliezer she'ein onish kares. Amalei, so Rav Asi says that Tanoi Aliba the Rabbi Eliezer. Ein Ochinami, there are two different approaches to Rabbi Eliezer, and I was giving you the approach that Ein Onish Kares, which is one approach, in which case Rabbi Eliezer did not derive his conclusion from a pasuk, because Rabbi Eliezer derives it from biblical exegesis. The Iko Diamri, Laman Diomar, Psula Mid Rabbanon, the whole thing is the Rabbanon, and it's not derived from the Torah. And therefore it's possible, but there's no Chiv Karis. Tisanya, where do we find this machlokas about how to interpret Rabbi Eliezer? In the following brisa. Hashochedes hazevach. If a person shechts a carbon lishtos domo lemochar, and he has in mind that he's going to drink some of the dam tomorrow, or lahaktir mibsaro lemochar, he's going to burn on the mizbeach some of the basar tomorrow, or lechol me'murim lemochar, the emurim are meant to be burnt on the mizbech, and he has in mind that he's going to eat the emurim kosher. None of these machshavos will register, and therefore the carbon is kosher. But Rabbi Eliezer posel, Rabbi Eliezer says it's posel. And now we understand why. If he shechted it for the intention of leaving the dam over tomorrow, which is called yotz, it's called it's a psul of nosar, is Rabbi Yehuda posel. Rabbi Eliezer af bazu Rabbi Eliezer posel v'chacham machshirim. So Rabbi Lazar, who's an Amora, he says that even in this case, we're going to have a machlokes between Rabbi Eliezer and the Chachamim. And now the Gemara wants to know Rabbi Yehuda, who says that it's possible, I'll leave it to man, whose sheet is he reflecting, Ilem, I'll leave it to Rabbanon. Rabbanon were the ones who said that if he intends to drink the blood tomorrow, then the carbon is kosher. Is hash, I'm going to derive with the kavachom ma'hasam. Tikam achshiv v'loshan achila machshirei rabbanon. If he uses a language of achila, and yet the rabbanon say that the carbon is kosher. It's hachal o kolshke, and here we says that he's just going to leave the blood over to tomorrow. Then for sure they would say it's kosher. Because the intent to consume the offering on the next day must include an intent to leave it over until the next day, right? It can't be available for eating if it's not left to the next day. Ella, leave it to Rabbi Eliezer. We're going to have to say that this was an expression based on the opinion of Rabbi Eliezer. Rabbi Yehuda therefore admits that according to Chachamim, the carbon is kosher. But he's teaching that according to Rabbi Eliezer, it's possible. Yom Rabbi Eliezer, af bazu Rabbi Eliezer posel v'chachamim machshirim. Rabbi Eliezer, hainu Rabbi Yehuda el lav kares ikabeinayu. So we see here that there's machlokas tanoim, machlokas amoraim, as to whether or not Rabbi Eliezer was talking about pigul mamish or just a psul d'Rabbanon. The Rabbi Yehuda savar lanicha psul v'alma. It's only a puzzle. Right? If he intended to leave the dam over for the next day, the carbon is only possible. The hanach kares nami mechayev. In the earlier cases where he intended to drink the blood or burn the meat the next day, he's chayev kares. That's actually derived from the Torah and it's pigul. The asa Rabbi Eliezer meimar idi ve'idi pasul v'eimbo kares. It's only possible. If he intends to leave the dam over or drink it the next day, the carbon is possible, but it's not pigul, and it doesn't generate a chiyuv kar. So anyway, we see that regarding a case where one intends to eat something that is meant for the mizbeach or vice versa, it is a matter of tanoic dispute whether Rabbi Eliezer would consider this as a carbon that is, according to Torah law, is considered unfit, or no, according to rabbinic law, it's unfit. Lo. Kuliyama karis lek. Everybody agrees that according to Rabbi Eliezer, there's no karis. Hacha sholosh machlokes b'davar. Here's a three-way machlokes. When he intends to leave the blood over to tomorrow, Tanakama Sovar v'hanach pligi. Tanakama the Brisa, who quotes Rabbi Eliezer and the Chachamim, as discussing specifically an intention to eat something that is meant to be burnt and vice versa, holds that Rabbi Eliezer the Rabbanan disagree regarding those cases. La'niach divrei kol kosher. But regarding the case where he has an intention to leave over the dam till the next day, everybody agrees that the carbon is kosher. Okay, this is where we'll stop for today. And tomorrow is Thursday. What's tomorrow? Thursday? So Thursday we get together at 9:30? No, that's Friday. Okay, tomorrow, same time, noon.
Noon.
Okay, good.